Hello students. So in the previous session we just saw about the introduction part of module 2, that is tools and methods used in cybercrime, and we also saw the different basic stages of an attack on the network. So now we'll move on with the next topic, that is proxy server and anonymizers. So to begin with, we'll start with proxy server. So proxy server is a computer on the network which acts as an intermediary. Here intermediary, we call it this way because it goes between the end users and the web pages they visit online. So in simple words, if you're saying proxy server is just essentially a computer on the internet that has an IP address of its own. Okay. So here what happens is attacker first he connects to the proxy server, and later he establishes a connection with the target system through the existing connection with the proxy. So the target system has a connection with the proxy. Using that connection, attacker tries to connect with the target system. Okay, so target is already connected to proxy, you assume. Using the same connection, attacker is going to establish a connection with the target system. So this enables the attacker to surf on the web anonymously, or he can hide the attack. So a user might be there who wants to get some services. So the user or a client, you can say, he connects to the proxy server and he is requesting for some services which are available from different server. Okay, so proxy server evaluates the request whatever the client has asked for and provides the resource by establishing a connection to that particular server which is going to provide that service. So proxy server is going to establish a connection on behalf of the client or the user. Okay, so it can happen that in college, if you're using the Wi-Fi there, so if you're trying to access Facebook, so those are blocked. So you might use a proxy server to access Facebook in the college Wi-Fi, right? So that is how it works. So directly you cannot access Facebook there. So what you do, you use a proxy, and that proxy is going to establish a connection with the server who is going to give you the access to FB. Okay, so that way it goes. So using proxy server, attacker can hide his identity or anonymously, or he can become anonymous on the network. So here some of the purpose is given, or proxy server can be having the following purpose, or why we use a proxy server is given here. So first of all, keep the system behind the curtain, that is mainly for the security reason. Okay, so the next thing you can say, speed, or you can say speed up access to a resource. This is because this proxy server uses the cache server. So whenever caching is there, so whatever page you have access currently, they will be stored in the cache. So because of that, next time when you access, you can access that page at a faster rate. So because of that, one of the purpose of going in for proxy server is speed up access to resource. This is because of caching. Okay, then specialized proxy servers can be used to filter. So if there are some unwanted advertisement coming in, so that can be filtered by using some specialized proxy servers. Okay, so that is one more purpose, you can say, wherein you can filter request or some unwanted contents like advertisements, all those things. Then proxy servers can be used as an IP address multiplexer. So here the meaning of this is it enables to connect number of computers on the internet whenever one has only one IP address. So when you have only one IP address, even then you'll be able to connect to number of computers on the internet because of this proxy server. Okay, so one of the main advantage of this proxy server is that of cache memory can serve all the users. So that's what we said. Because of that, what happens, you speed up the access to a resource, right? So that is one thing. So other way you can also say it is going to improve the response time. So that's what we said. In proxy we have the cache service also. Okay, next you can see some sites here. So these are nothing but few of the sites wherein we can get free proxy servers. Free proxy servers can be available in these sites. You can check out if you want. Okay. Next, we'll move on with anonymizers. So, anonymizers, it is a tool, or you can say, or an anonymous proxy, is a tool that attempts to make activity on the internet untraceable. That is, whatever you have performed, or whatever pages you have viewed, or whatever activities you have done, those cannot be traced by using this anonymizer. Okay, so anonymizer proxy is a tool that attempts to make your activity on the internet untraceable. We cannot, or it cannot be traced. What and all you have done cannot be traced. So it accesses the internet on behalf of the user, protecting personal information and also hiding source computers identifying information. So overall, it protects, it access the internet on the user behalf. Along with that, it is also going to protect the personal information. So this anonymizer are services used to make web surfing anonymous, that is, without knowing the identity, by utilizing a website that acts as a proxy server for the web client. Okay, so mainly anonymizer, the main purpose is whatever activity you're doing that cannot be traced. So anonymizer also hides or removes all the identifying information from the user computer while the user surfs on the internet, which ensure the privacy of the user. So as is surfing, all the data, that is, what you can say, privacy is there for all his information. That is the main purpose. Okay, so this anonymizer, the first anonymizer software was created in 1997 by a person called as Lance Cottrell, developed by anonymizer.com. So that's just for the information. So again, here you can see some sites are there. So these are the free websites where more information about anonymizers can be found. Okay, so other than that, here, being anonymous while searching on Google. So here few of the terms, that is about Google cookie. So I hope you all know about cookies, right? So whatever site you visit, so many a times you might get a message as there at the bottom of the page you get two buttons as allow cookie or reject, all those things. So these cookies are nothing but a small piece of text that is sent to your browser by the site which you are visiting. So whichever site you have visited, they send a cookie that you can check it in your browser. It will be there. You can go to settings and privacy. Once you can check if you want. So you can. So this is my Google Chrome. You can go to settings, and here you have. I'll just maximize this. So you have privacy. You have privacy and security. Then you have cookies and other sites. There you have see all cookies and site data. You can check it. So you can see the cookies and site data, whatever websites you have viewed. So those small piece of text will be sent to your browser so that you can view it here. So you can see here some, if I'm seeing some site, if I'm looking into business today, you can see, click on something. So name of the cookie, content, domain, that is business today, and path is there. When the cookie was created, so it was created June 1st. When it expires, so it is there for almost a year. It can be there. So all this information, so you can view all these things. Okay, so just for your information. So cookies as itself, they are harmless. If they're there, no problem, they don't do any damage to your system. But Some cyber attacks can, in case any cyber attack happens, they can hijack these cookies, wherein they might be able to access the browsing session, and also they might be able to track individual browsing history, so that might happen. Okay, so that is one thing. So here they've just given you about the being anonymous while searching on the Google. So first of all, they are speaking about Google cookies. So Google was the first search engine to use cookie. So as I told, cookies are nothing but just a small piece of text. Okay, so you already saw what and all will be there, like name, content, when it was created, all those information will be there. Google has set the standard, and nowadays cookies are common among all the search engine. So this cookie places a unique ID number on your hard disk. Anytime you visit Google, users get a Google cookie if a user doesn't already have one. So if you are not having a Google cookie, one will be created. Okay, if a user has, it will read and record the unique ID number. So Google can build a detailed list of your search terms over many years. So that is what about your Google cookie, wherein Google is going to set a unique ID. Okay, so that is about Google cookie. Next, just a cookie, as we said, a text. Whenever you visit any page, you'll be getting information as whether you can access or whether you allow the cookie to be installed on your system. You get messages like that, right? So that's what cookie is, a small text file that contains some string or alphabetical numeric characters. They are used to store, that is what in the browser they'll be storing. So while visiting the same web page again and again, and also acts as an identifier for the server based session, such as a browser mechanism, all those things. So there are two types of cookies, what you can say. We have persistent cookie and we have session cookie. So when you say persistent, it is stored on the web browser into the cookie folder. That's what I showed you on the PC hard disk. It remains under the cookie folder, which is maintained by the web browser. Session cookie is a temporary cookie and does not reside on the PC once the browser is closed. So that time what I showed, it had an expiry date until 2022. So till then it can be there. If you're not deleting it, it will be there in your browser. Okay. Next one is about double click. So just the terms, you just need to know these terms, what it means. Okay. So double click is a subsidiary of Google and provides internet ad serving services and paid search product listing, and utilize the cookie which are called dart cookie. So internet advertising network was started by a person called as Kevin and Dwight in 1995. So DoubleClick was first in the online media representation business, that is representing websites to sell advertising space. So you might see any web page you visit, there you have some ads coming in, right? To marketers. So that is what here about DoubleClick. So in 1997, it began offering online ad serving and management technology, which they had developed to other publishers as the Dart services. So Dart cookie is a persistent one, which consists of name of the domain that has set the cookie, the lifetime of the cookie, and a value associated with that cookie. Okay, so that's about your Dart. And the last one you have is GZapper, that is a utility which helps to stay anonymous while searching Google. So Google stores a unique identifier in a cookie on the computer hard disk, as we told, which allows to track the keyword that are searched for. So this information is used to compile reports, track user habits, and text features. So features. In future, it would be possible that this information can be sold or can also be shared with others. So GZapper helps to protect user ID and search history also. It reads the Google cookie installed on the user PC, displays the date when it was installed, and determines how long user search have been tracked, and displays Google searches. So it also allows the user to automatically delete or entirely block the Google search cookie for from future installation. So that's about the gzapper. Just some not so important, but just to know what it is, what is cookie, what is double click, what is gzapper. Just briefly, you know what it is. Okay. Next, we'll move on to the next topic, that is password cracking. So, password is like a key to get an entry into the computerized system. It's like a lock. So, if you have kept some n number of amount in some locker, so if you know that either you have the key or you know the pin or number, right? Only then you can get access to that particular locker. Similarly, password is like a key to get an entry into computerized system. So, password cracking, it is a process of recovering password from data that has been stored or in or transmitted by a computer system. That is, it is a password cracking is a process. That is, it can happen that an attacker might try to crack a password, so he might be simply randomly trying out different possibilities so that he can crack your password. So once he has got your password, he can get an access into your system, right? So usually an attacker follows a common approach, that is repeatedly making guesses for the password. So the purpose of password cracking is to recover a forgotten password. Yes, many a times even we do that, right? Sometimes we forget the password, so we try out different possible password, whatever we can recall. That is one thing. As a preventive measure by system administrator to check for easily crackable password, even from the system admin side also it can happen. So if you have given some password which can be very easily crackable, so system admin also might try out to gain unauthorized access to a system. Yes, this is an attacker can do this. So he might try to crack the password with an intention to gain access to a system to which he is not authorized. That is one thing. So again, here in this case, manual password cracking, in which you can say as an attempt to log on with different passwords. The attacker follows some of the steps like find a valid user account such as administrator or a guest. After that, he might create a list of possible passwords. Okay, so first of all, he will target an account. That account can be either an administrator or a guest, and after that, he is going to create a list of possible passwords which they might give. Then he might rank the password from high to low probability. Just he is doing trial and error. Then he will key in each of the password, that is he will be checking for each of the password. He can try again until a successful password is found. So these are the things which attacker might do in manual password cracking. First of all, target an account, then create a possible list of password, then which is more probable. Now, usual mentality is we might give some date of birth or telephone number, so they are like high probability that a user might give such kind of password. So that is what he is going to rank the password from high probability to low probability. Then he is going to try out each of the password. So he is going to try out until he has found a successful password. Okay, so that is these are the steps what you can say for manual password attack. Okay, sorry, manual password cracking. Whereas passwords can be guessed, sometimes with the knowledge of users personal information, like you might be knowing his parents name, or you might be knowing his date of birth or telephone number. So usual mentality is something he might give like that, he might give his phone number or something like that. Okay, so examples of some guessable password might include blank, none, nothing might be there like that. Usually we don't give like that. Or sometimes some are there who might give the password as password itself. They might write it as password only, or they might write it as passcode, or some might give as QWERTY because they are easy to remember in the keyboard, or something like ASDF. So some are there who give such kind of password. Okay, or who might give username, or login name only as their password, or some might even give their friends or a pet or parents, or some might give their birthplace, date of birth, or their relatives, friends, or some might even give their vehicle number, or the office number, or their mobile number, or their phone number as a password. Then some celebrity or actress name, if you're fond of some actor or actress, you might give their name as a password. Simple modification of one of the preceding, such as something beforehand. Suppose I have given sdit at the rate 123, so just modifying s and changing it to some other, or instead of sdit at 123 I might make it to 123 sdit at something like that, trying all the possibility. So these all you can say under passwords that can be guessed. Okay, so attacker can also create a script file, or you can say attacker can also create an automated program which will be executed to try each password in a list. So as we told, he might create a list of password, and thereby he can also execute some program which is going to try out all the password that is there in the list. Okay, it is still considered, if you do like that also, it is still, you can say, as it is a manual cracking, and it is time consuming and not usually effective. That is the thing here. So password cracking, that is, it can be from the attacker side, or you yourself, you might have forgotten your password, then you're trying to crack your password. Or from the admin side also it can happen, to check whether any of the passwords are like easily crackable, anything like that. Then you have to tell about manual password cracking, and about passwords which can be guessed. Okay, so passwords are also stored in a passwords, not also, you say passwords are stored in a database, and password verification process is established into the system when the user attempts to log in, right? Only when you give your username and password, then only that matching thing will happen, right? So when the user establish, that is, verification process is established into the system when the user attempts to log in or access some restricted resource. So to ensure confidentiality of password, so that's the thing. When you try to, we say that you are trying to log into an account, then you will be entering your username and password. So that there comes the picture of password verification. So there you'll try to match with the data what is stored in the database. Okay, so when a user attempts to log into the system by entering the password, the that's what matching with the stored value is done. If there is a match, then user can gain access. So this process you call it as authentication. Okay, so that's, you can say about password cracking. So here some of the tools are given, so it is given as a table, so there are many tools, just few tools I've put up here. So these are some of the password cracking tools, like if you go for this default password.com, so network devices such as switches, hubs and routers are equipped with this default password, and usually these passwords are changed after commissioning this device to the network. Once they're connected to the network, then this password will be changed. Okay, the intruder can gain access using the default password by visiting this particular site. Okay, that is about the thing. So along with that, you have others also, like oxide, open wall, this given as a table. Okay, and the next thing here. Okay, so next, yeah. Still many other tools are there, you can just check it out. Okay, so we'll come to the categories. So this is an important thing. So usually you might get a question as, what do you mean by password cracking? What are the different categories? Or password cracking attacks can be classified into three categories. First of all, you can say it as online attack. Next is offline, and the third one is non-electronic attack. So when you say non-electronic, it's like social engineering, you can say. Shoulder surfing, that is, you might be usually in cyber cafe it happens, you might be sitting and surfing, and you never know, behind you there might be somebody who is watching on the username and password what you're entering. Okay, so we'll see each one of them. So to begin with, first we'll see about online attack. So online attacks, so an attacker can create a script file, as I told in the previous slide. So an attacker creates a script file, or you can say it is an automated program that will be executed to try out each password that is there in the list, and when a match occurs, an attacker can gain the access to the system. That's what we already said in the previous slide. So either he can go for manual, or he can run a script, that is an automated program which is going to try out all the passwords which he has listed. So it will be trying out all the different password, and when a matching password is got, the attacker can gain access to the system. The most popular online attack is called as man in middle. It can also be called as bucket brigade, or sometimes also called as Janus attack. So it is a form of active eavesdropping in which the attacker establishes a connection between victim and the server to which the victim is connected, that is the target and the server to which the target is connected. Okay, so and a connection is established over there. So when a victim client connects to the fraudulent, that is like a trap fraudulent server, the man in the middle attack, what does it do, or man in the middle server interrupts the call, and he is going to hash the password and passes the connection to the victim server. Okay, so this type of attack is used to obtain the password for email attack on some public websites like Gmail or Yahoo, and can also be used to get password for financial website that would like to gain access, access to some banking websites. So that's about your online attack. Next one you have about offline. So mostly offline attack are performed from a location other than the target where these passwords reside or they are used. So it's like uh, offline attacks usually require some physical access to the computer, and copying the password file from the system onto some removable media. So here you can see there is a table given like dictionary attack or hybrid attack or brute force attack. So all these are called as offline. So what do you mean by offline? Perform from a location other than the target, that is either a computer or not in the target. Okay, outside that, so it is called as offline, where these passwords are reside or they're used. So passwords might be saved in some database, so from there the attack is happening. That is dictionary attack, wherein attempts to match all the words from the dictionary to get the password. uh, Whereas hybrid, it substitutes the numbers and symbols, like combination of numbers and some at or like that symbols to get the password. Whereas brute force again attempts all possible permutation and combination of letters and numbers and also some special characters. So brute force, I think you have already learned in ADA. So brute force is repeatedly. So same thing here, brute force. You're trying out all different combinations of letters, numbers, characters, so as to crack the password. Okay. And the next one you have is they're just speaking about what is strong password, what is weak password, and what is some random password. Okay, so a weak password is one which could easily be guessed. Yes, we all know that, and so many a times it also tells us that whatever you're typing is weak. So easily which can be cracked or easily which can be guessed is called as a weak password. Okay, which is very short and common, and system default password that could be easily found by executing by doing some brute force technique, by using some possible password or some dictionary word. So by easily which can be got, that is nothing but your weak password. Okay, so password that can be easily guessed by acquaintance of netizens or the users, like users date of birth or pet name or spouse name. So whenever you use such kind of thing, then it is usually called as a weak password. Okay, so examples like if your name is Peter, then you give the password as Peter. That is what you can say, very easily able, somebody can very easily try out and crack your password. That is, you can use your personal name, or somebody who is just giving abcd, even that is the thing. Or you give abc 123, or if he is admin, he'll give a password as admin, gone. Or qw or ty you give, or you give your date of birth only. All these are called as a weak password. Okay, something which can be easily cracked, something which is easily cracked, you can call it as a weak password. Whereas a strong password are those which cannot be easily cracked. Okay, so strong password usually will be very lengthy, you can say, and which it will be lengthy, it is long enough, and random, and otherwise it is also difficult to guess. It's not very easy. You might give something like your name followed by some character, then again some date of birth characters. Those are something difficult, it's not easily we cannot easily able to crack it. So usually they say, right, password let it be up to maximum 8 length, or it is combination of lowercase, uppercase, special character, numbers. They usually say like that, password should be of this kind. So such kind of thing you can call it as a strong password. Okay, that is about the strong password. And the last one you can say is about random password. So we long password and random when you say, password is stronger if it includes a mixture of uppercase, lowercase, numeric symbols. That is what we say it as a strong password. The difficulty in remembering such password increases the chances that the user will write down that password. So whenever we write down that password, possibility, that is which makes it more vulnerable to a different type of attack. Whenever it is there in paper, your paper, if you're writing in paper, paper might be stolen. Somebody might misuse it, right? So all those things are there. So a password can uh, first of all can be a random one. That is, you can just some patterns, like if you see your keyboard, I have 26, then that is if I'm going to the right side, then if I'm going to the top side, then it will be 84, then the middle one key will be 5. That is how your keys in the number pad is there. So such kind of password, you can call it as a random password, which some patterns you're using so that you can remember the patterns. So using some pattern, or like in my keypad, I can, if I want to write the pattern as A, then I might give the numbers as 14863, like that. So such kind of password you can call it as a random password. Okay, so forcing users to create some system created random password ensures that passwords will have no connection with the user. So many a times it happens when you give forget password, then you might get a system generated password. So whenever system generated password is there, you cannot remember that, right? It will not have any connection with you or for the user, and it won't be found anywhere also. So in case such things are there, you need to change it. I think it's better you can give some pattern. Okay, so again, for the password also, there will be some many cases you might see like the password what you're using might be valid for 90 days or 30 to 45 days, and after that you need to change. So in some sites that thing is there, so if that is there, you will be keep on changing. So always make sure you change your password at least for 90 days or something like that. Okay. So the imposition of strong random password may ensure, or you can say it encourages the user to write down password, store them in your personal or your PDAs or cell phones, and share them with others. Again, there what happens, the possibility of your password being leaked is more, right? So always make sure you do some tricks to remember the password and not to share with anybody, because possibility of misusing it is more. Okay. So again, they have given you some guidelines which can be applicable for the password policy, which can be implemented organization wide, which includes passwords and user login identities should be unique to each authorized user. Password should consist of minimum of 8 alphanumeric characters. So these are some of the rules or guidelines that is there common, right? There should be computer control list of some prescribed password rule and periodic testing to identify any password weakness. So you might see whenever you're signing up, wherein it asks to enter the password. So if you're giving a password which is very easy, so then it will be shown in red color. Or if you're given, if your password is of very small length, then also it will tell you as weak password. So all those things need to be implemented. Okay. So that is what you can say, computer control list of prescribed password rules. So password always should be kept private, not to be shared with your friends, colleagues, those things. Then it is best that you change your password every 35 to 40, if not at least 190 days. Okay. User account should be frozen after 5 failed login attempts. So that's what one guidelines is. They are saying that if a user is trying to access his account and all the 5 times he has given a wrong password, then on the fifth failed attempt, account should be frozen. All RNS password entries should be recorded in an audit log for later inspection and actions if it is required. So that is also a guideline that is applicable or implemented organization wide. Sessions should be suspended after 15 minutes of inactivity. Yes, that also you might have seen. You log in and you don't do anything for a few minutes, then automatically you'll be logged out, right? Then successful logon should display the date when you have logged in, date, time, and last login, log off. Those information also will be recorded. Login ID and password should be suspended after specified period. If you're not using for a few months, then logon IDs and password should be suspended. So, and the next thing, that is for high risk system, after excessive violation, the system should generate an alarm and should be able to simulate a continuing session for the failed user. So that is one more guidelines what they are telling. And the next thing, as a user or we should practice password guidelines to avoid being victim of getting the personal email account being hacked. So if you want to keep safe or keep yourself safe from your account being hacked or attacked, make sure passwords used for business email account and personal email account like your Yahoo and banking account should be kept separate. Better keep, because when you're keeping the same password for everything, if one is compromised, then the possibility that other accounts also might be attacked. So password minimum, make sure 8 alphanumeric characters, and also it should have some special characters. It is better you include all those. Then it is good that you change your password every 30 to 45 days. Then never share your password with any of your friends or relatives also. And suppose a few months back you have used the password And next time you want to change the password, don't keep the same password. We never know when a data breach has happened, and when somebody is having your details, we never know. If you're trying to use the same password, then the time when the data breach might have happened, they might be having your information. If you're keeping the same password again, possibility of being attacked is more. Passwords of personal email account and financial user account should be changed from a secure system. Better you use your own system. Don't do it in cyber cafe or any public wi-fi which is available. Better don't use whenever you're trying to access your banking or financial or your personal email. Better you don't use it. Okay, so password should not be stored in your mobile phones or pdas, because you never know when your phone might be stolen by somebody. We never know. So, in case of receipt of email or banking financial institution instructing to change your password, before clicking the web link displayed on the email, you should ensure that that email is from valid source. So many a times it has happened, attacker might simply try to trick you, send telling that I'm from this particular bank. You click on the link to change your password, something like that. So ensure that the mail has come from genuine person only. Okay, so also some sms also you might be getting, saying that we are from bank and we are changing the atm, or we are giving a new atm pin, so give your current pin so that we can update all those things. So make sure you're not entertaining all those things. Okay, in case of email account or user account that have been blocked, respective institutes or agencies should be contacted immediately. In case your internet banking is not working or something like that, contact immediately, because you never know who has hacked and who has blocked it for your access. We never know. So make sure you contact the corresponding agency or the institute immediately when you encounter it. Okay, so that is all about your password cracking. Okay, and next we are going to see about keyloggers, so we'll see it in the next class. Thank you.